Okay, we're looking at conservation of energy here. So last time we looked at different types of energy. Now, in the universe, so we had our little object at the start of the universe, and that exploded out as the Big Bang. All the matter and energy is fixed. Okay, it was however much was in there, the little you could sort of singularity at the start of the universe. All that mass and energy that was in there is how much mass and energy we have now. It does not disappear. So let's say you had a person, and this person eats a Big Mac, okay, or let's say 50 Big Macs, okay, a whole lot of them, just firing on in there from a catapult, okay, flying into the guy's mouth and eats them all. Then this person is gaining what we call chemical energy. So there's a whole lot of chemical energy that's stored inside this Big Mac, and what happens is the person starts getting bigger because the person's storing the energy. Just because you eat the Big Mac does not mean the energy disappears. It just gets stored somewhere else, and it's still getting stored as chemical energy. So it's chemical. Now, if this person actually then started running a long way, okay, so some sort of running, then as the person was running along, they may start losing their fat and end up being skinny again because they've converted that chemical energy into kinetic energy and also some heat. Okay. Now, another option, let's have a look at this. We talked about last time that if you go up to the top of a mountain, if you go to the top of a mountain, you start walking up. So let's say there's some stairs on the side of a mountain, or let's say a pyramid in Egypt. So you're climbing up, you go bounce, 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 bounce. You get to the top. You've gained what type of energy? You've gained GPE, which stands for gravitational potential energy. Now, let's say the person carried on walking, okay, it's some sort of pagan sacrifice ritual, okay, or it's just a bungee jumper or a parachutist. So this person steps off, and then the person will then accelerate downwards. As they get faster and faster, so they've got a speed of 0 there, but a speed of, let's say, 100 kilometers an hour here, they're getting faster, and that actually means the value of their kinetic energy is increasing. So their kinetic energy here is equal to 0, and the kinetic energy here is, let's say, equal to lots. Now, where does this lots of kinetic energy come from? It comes from the gravitational potential energy. So at the start here, the person had all this no kinetic energy, but it's actually got lots of gravitational potential energy from walking to the top. Down here, the gravitational potential energy has actually reduced now to some. Okay, when the person smacks into the ground, their GPE, or gravitational potential energy, is now 0. Okay, and what would happen just before the person hits the ground, they would actually be at their maximum speed. So here, the person would be close to the bottom with maximum speed. So kinetic energy here is equal to the most it will get. Okay, GPE pretty much 0. Okay, so it's got its maximum speed, so it's got its maximum kinetic energy. Gravitational potential energy is pretty much all gone into kinetic. And then once the person hits the ground, they stop. So speed equals 0. So that means their kinetic energy must also equal 0. Now we've lost all our gravitational potential energy. We've lost all our kinetic energy. So where does that energy actually go? Well, it actually goes to heat and sound, and some things could create light. Okay, so usually heat and sound, not the screaming of the person, but the actual splat noise you'd hear. So that's pretty much conservation of energy. So the law actually says energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy cannot be created or destroyed, only converted, changed is another word, converted to another form. And that is the law of conservation of energy.